Hey, cool cats and kittens. How we doing today? I'm just hanging out here at my house, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do some hobby tonight, and sometimes y'all like to join along with me. So I thought we would do that. We'll just have ourselves an easy-going evening, and we'll hang out. So I got Quiet Woods and Chat. I'll be painting up my Mortis engine alongside. Sweet, dude. Sweet, sweet. Okay. Well, I won't waste any time. I'm actually gonna go directly. Boom, to the downward cam. And today we're going to be building. Now, I always say whenever I do building on the cam that I don't often like to build on the camera. Even though I keep doing it. But I wanted to hang out with people. So, that's just how it's going to be. What am I going to do? Let's see. I'm going to build... I got me a strike squad of Grey Knights. This is the only box that I have, but it should be enough. As long as I build one more like actual strike squad, I have enough troops to play a small game of 40k, which is exciting. But equally as exciting, I don't know if you guys remember this, but I had mentioned before that I had Saint Celestine. It came as part of the lot with the Grey Knights, and I was like, I don't know what to do with her. But I decided instead of being a wuss that I would double down, and I grabbed a Canoness and 2 boxes of Retributor Repentia. There we go. There's the word that's written on the box clearly in bold font for me. Repentia. So, what am I doing with these? Well, here's here's the thing. Everybody take a shot if you're playing that drinking game. The thing is, I didn't really know what to do with her. So let's even take that out of the equation. I didn't know when I got the Grey Knights that they couldn't take Primaris. I just assumed that they could. And I was like, I'll get these models because I like them, and I understand they'll be phased out eventually. Like, I understand what's going on. I'm not a fool. So I was like, I'll build them as I go. It's whatever. But then I was like, well, hold on a second. What if they don't get Primaris in the new edition? I definitely want to be painting something that thematically goes with the Grey Knights, but it is kind of more, I guess, future-proof, as much as models can be. They're not, but I want it to last a little while. And so I was like, well, why don't I keep the kind of like the spiritual religious theme, kind of the zealot thing, whereas those guys are the expert demon hunters. I can get Sisters of Battle, which... fight alongside with them. It's a faith-oriented thing. If they came to a planet that had sisters, the Grey Knights would take command. So I was like, okay, this is a cool little... It'll start as an allied attachment. And basically, with the exception, until I see what goes on with the Grey Knight Codex. But the hashtag of hashtag Grey Knight has a slight typo. Do I have hashtag Grey Knight on here? I shouldn't. There should be no hashtags. Let's see. Oh, weird. There is a typo. Thank you for saying that. This stream was not supposed to have those. It must have... I think I made a mistake somewhere else and it imported it into this, because you can just kind of import settings and stuff. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. So anyway, yeah, sorry, got a little distracted there. Just to kind of be, future-proof, I'm going to build enough to have a fun little force with these guys, the Grey Knights, and then going forward, I'll probably stick more with what's going on with the Sisters of Battle, just because they are newer and I like them. However, I will say this, if they do give a Primaris version of Grey Knights, I'm in like Flynn, because they're cool as all get out. So, that's what we're going to be working on tonight. We're going to be... I don't know what I want to build. Well, tell you what, let's get these guys out of the way. Let's just finish what I have, huh? Let's see, I'm going to respond to some chat stuff here while I'm cracking open this box. Chuckles in Rail Rifle, exactly. Yep. Hey Ben, hey Craig, how you doing, buddy? Go have fun at D&D night. It's D&D. Fighting with the legends of yore. Alright, so... Let's see. So that's right, these things are, they give you 4 sprues, 2 of them are identical. Yeah, so this is a 5-man unit. This is a 5-man unit. Muy bien. Great. So I got to build a strike squad with one of the 5-mans. This way I can have my 3 troops units, which is important for CP generation. They've already previewed in the new edition. So let me just grab some tools. I promise once I get all set up, I kind of just jumped on all willy-nilly without being ready for anything, but you know. Let's see. Thank you so much for Trippy the Shroom for pointing that out. Let's see. I don't think the old miniatures like Tactical Marines will be phased out. They'll just be nerfed to correction levels of orcs. Well, when I say phased out, what I mean is that I think they'll still be playable. I do. I just think that they'll go to Legends and the competitive community will be like, oh my god, they got rid of Space Marines, even though that, you know, kind of everything they do with Age of Sigmar models that are retired, they're just like, oh my god, what does GW hate us? You know, that kind of stuff. That's what I meant. So like, even if they do go to Legends in the next book, I'm still gonna use them. Like I practice what I preach here. I've told people before when they complain about their models, you know, going the way of the dinosaur in terms of the company doesn't produce them anymore. Like, no, I mean, they still support them. Like, there's still rules out there. They don't have to do that. They choose to, which is cool. Okay, now we need backpacks. Let's see, I'm going to give that one to the leader boy. Yeah, so what else did I work on? This weekend I cranked through 10. I had 2 boxes of these guys, so I had 10 there I knocked out really, really quickly. What else? Yeah, this is, I have this box of 10 dudes, and then a Dread Knight that's all kinds of magnetized that I have to build, and that is it for what I own currently. I'm going to clip that little icon off because I don't like it dangling. Currently what I have for all of the Grey Knights. I was really on the fence because I like, you know, my birthday's coming up. It's in July. And my wife and I were chatting, and she's like, you know, get yourself something that you really want. I was like, I could do a Storm Raven because the Grey Knights can take the ships, and having flyers was definitely a part of my thought process when I grabbed the army. I was like, I don't know, man. I kind of want some Sisters of Battle. They're pretty cool. For the longest time, one of the local stores here had that Sisters box, but they were like, oh, we sold it online because we couldn't sell locally for quite a while because of COVID. So let's see. Doug, is this for Kill Team? Nope. This is me getting ready for full-blown 40K. The new edition coming out has piqued my curiosity. Mainly because they're opening advertisements for it. Pretty much addressed all the things that I don't like about 40K currently. So I was like, feel like that was just for me. Even though it's not, I'm sure there were plenty of pain points for lots of folks. So that's going to be the leader boy. I like to divvy up the parts by person here. So we'll do this. Kind of keeps me organized. I still want female guardsmen. Me too. Jack with his sad face with 40K. It is what it is, bud. Get that sourpuss out of here. Honestly, so the reason I haven't done much AOS stuff recently, to be perfectly honest, is, one, I have darn near everything for Warcry. I don't need a whole lot there. When it comes to most of the AOS stuff, like I have my full Maggotkin army and I don't want to get rid of it. Like, you know, that's just kind of my cycle. I don't have an army that I'm thinking about, you know, doing next after that, and so it's like, I just don't know what I want to do. So I'm not like in a slump with AOS. I really want to play, because I did really enjoy my Maggotkin, and I think they look great. I don't know. It's just nothing's gripping me, you know? Part of my thing lately is that I've really been wanting to focus on more elite armies, which is honestly is kind of why I cannonballed into the Grey Knights like I did. And Sisters of Battle can be elite if you want them to be. And I don't know. What do you guys think? What is the 40k equivalent of like a really tanky elite army that isn't Nurgle, you know, in AOS? What do we think? Jack, you've got enough Cities of Sigmar stuff that I could take a quarter of it, build 4 armies, and you'd still have plenty. So, Jack, if you want me to do more Age of Sigmar content, reach out to me. Hook me up with a city. What would my city be? Greywater Toughness for 2+. Custodes. No, yeah. It's still being dug for my Iron Jaws, but I regret nothing. Let's see. Thinking of picking up Storm. Oh, I guess Stormcast. Yeah, I could do a round 3 with the Stormcast. What do we think? Yeah, you're probably right. That is probably actually a good one. Stormcast. How can Sisters of Battle be elite? I thought they were only like semi-elite. What I mean is like they have a lot of pricey. So the Force org chart is kind of how I'm describing things, but like they have like profiles. Units that go under like the elite tab tend to cost more points. And so like your typical Sister of Battle I think is like 7 points in a list, whereas the more elite ones are almost double that. And so that's what I'm talking about. Between that and the vehicles and their leaders, you know, they're not pricey in and of themselves, but if you get a bunch of them, I know that Saint Celestine and the saints that go with her, they are an expensive girl band to have come to your party, because holy smokes, she's a beat stick, but she's also like a force multiplier for everything else. So they can be. That's what I mean. Like, I mean, kind of in the same way that most armies, if you wanted to, could be elite. It just takes some purposeful design choices, if you will. I'm in rut with 40k. Don't want it. Not play Warhammer. Don't want to not play Warhammer, but having trouble hobbying with it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I get that. Honestly, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't play my first game, and it still has been my only game since the Corona outbreak, has been with my buddy Ben, who is in the chat. And I had such a great time, and then like on the heels of that were all of the big previews, and I was like, yeah, I'm in like Flynn. I had a great time with a buddy, and I was like, this is exactly what I want out of Warhammer, regardless of the system. It's not even about 40k, it's just what I want out of the grand hobby of miniature wargaming. So I was like, you know, that is what we're gonna do. Plus, the sad reality is, frankly, I say sad. It's not a sad reality. It's just a fact. Warhammer is 40k is more popular across the U.S. and so I want to have a faction to where I can always get a game in, because it's important for the channel, more so than any of y'all know that I get games in, because it's kind of what refuels my hobby juices when it comes to like getting enthusiasm to do videos and that kind of stuff, which has been sorely lacking lately. So yeah. What do we got? Necrons are quite unkillable. Yeah, they're pretty cool. Beast Claw. Oh, I guess Beast Claw Raiders. I forget about them. Oh, that's right. All of the ogres. They could be pretty elite, couldn't they? I got to think about that one. Jack, what do you think about me doing a what are they called? Ogre Maw Tribes. Maw Tribes, that's what it's called. I don't know. It's okay. I only have an Age of Sigmar devoted channel. It's not like I can remember every single faction's name. That would be unrealistic expectations. Let me ask you this. What's everybody else working on right now? It's the same in the UK. More people play 40k. Yeah. Yeah, and that's... It is what it is, you know. Tis neither good nor bad. So what I do now is just assemble the torso with this little Scouts camping backpack on him. Love watching your games thrilling ones. Thank you. Yep, we're all itching to get back together and get gaming. Mod tribes would be awesome. Okay. Notice how silent he was when it came to Cities of Sigmar, even though it means that I would probably paint it and sell it to him. So let's all just appreciate the fact that Jack doesn't want Doug treading on his turf when it comes to Cities of Sigmar. Not acknowledging my comments there and then saying that Maw tribes would be awesome is he basically just peed on that army to mark his territory, everybody. That's the kind of guy Jack is. Iron Dragon, I just started AOS with my first army. Sweet! Let's see. I'm figuring out some 40k kit badges. Nice. I do, one thing I will say about 40k is I do miss the Inquisition book the way it used to be way back in the day when it was just a whole bunch of stuff combined because you can make all kinds of weird stuff. Any way to share painting progress? Links are a no-go. Quiet Woods, what do you mean links? Oh, I mean for you to share progress here because YouTube won't let you post links. When the video is done rendering, like when the hobby hangs over, you can go in and leave a link as a comment. I have to approve it first because that's just kind of YouTube's jam. There's like, want to make sure no one's spamming us with like sales links and junk, but I will definitely do that. Or, of course, you can go on to any of the social media things in the link down, description below and just at me. At 2+ stuff. You should do beginner 1,000 point army ideas. Or did you do that already? You know what? I did not. Iron Dragon, that's a great idea. That is a good idea. I think the one I'm going to have trouble with is Daughters of Cain. Alright. Perfect. Okay, torsos aren't together. We'll clog this back up. Alright. Yeah, let's do that. Alright. Here's your mission. Jack Ballard, if you are listening, start subtly twisting arms to see if you can procure unto me an affordable Maw Tribes army, and I will start a Maw Tribes and we'll do it together. I have so many Skaven lists if you want them. Yeah, send them my way. Why not? Hit me up on the Discord. Okay, where's the directions? Here we go. Boom. Okay, so here's a question for the chat. We're going with Rule of Cool, okay, because I'm Doug and this is 2+ stuff. Hi, welcome. You'll notice you'll notice on this picture here that they are armed with either swords, power swords, or these kind of like halberd things where it's a blade on a long staff. Okay. The question is, which one should I equip this unit with? Now, technically, they can have a mix. They can do whatever. That's not a problem. But what is more likely, what I like to do, honestly, is have all the unit be equipped with one thing, because frankly, it keeps the things that my brain has to like work with down. So, what would you like me to be armed with? Swords, halberds. This is my third unit of infantry dudes, and I have one of each already, so there's no wrong answer. Like it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. So tell me, what am I doing? We got 1 vote for halberds. I'm gonna give it what, like a minute and a half more because there's a delay, so it's whatever. Let's see, Jack. I'll keep an eye out. My brother has sitting on 2K. Oh. Jack, listen. Between you and me, tell him he can have the blown splitters, and then I'll take the OBR. Or not OBR, the ogres. And then you and I will work it out later. Jack, do it. This isn't the live stream. This is just the voice in your head. Halberds, so underrated. So that is what, 4, 5... Mr. Gray Brown? No, I've only been live for like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, something like that. Hasn't been that long, has it? I don't know. Time goes by so much faster when I'm live streaming. 20, jeez. It's a 2-handed axe with a spear on it and a warhammer. That's awesome. Yeah, okay, we'll go with halberds. Sorry, one guy, Chad, who voted. Okay, who voted for swords? Let's see. So there are 4 configurations with halberds. Okay. Paint them up classic Empire footmen. Oh my gosh, yes, with the checkered pattern. I gotta get my green stuff out and put a bigger codpiece on them. Okay, so this is to me the hardest part of building 40k models, which is just finding stuff on the sprue, just in general. Okay, that's right. This one has all. Do 1 sword for Chad. Yes, I'll have. I'll name the champion of my unit that has the swords. The champion will be Chad. And Chad, I don't know if you can see this bit, or you can go see the picture on my Instagram. But Chad, the Justicar of these units, he is stabbing a demon in the head on the ground. Chad Swordsman. Yes. Okay. Let's see. So I need... Which one's 50? 50, 41, 39. Okay. So, confession time. My least favorite thing in the hobby is trying to build models that are holding 2-handed weapons. I hate it. I hate it so much. Because they never come out right. It's not technically true. My ones that I built look great. There's some Terminators from the original lot that I got that we're going to say they look rough. Rough is the polite word when you're looking at someone's models that look derpy AF, but we're going to say rough. Okay, so... Okay, so that hand goes with that one. So that is going to be the Sergeant's arm, where he's going to do the mighty point of doom, where he just gets this disappointing finger that's just wagging at somebody. So he'll go over here. Okay. Chad gets immortalized. Let's see. Iron Dragon. 40k, I'm interested in playing Tyranids, but I hear they're hard to collect. Well, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know, like, a ton about 40k. And that's an interesting thing. Why somebody, or why the internet has told you, or made you feel like they are hard to collect. That's a very interesting question, because they don't have, like, a derpy start collecting box, like, say... Daughters of Cain. I mean, it's not derpy, it's just the way the faction is built off of that one hero kit that's tied to a giant centerpiece model. That's awkward, and that makes it really difficult to get into, but they don't have anything like that, so I'm kind of curious as to why you were told that. So, Tell me some more. What makes you think that Tyranids are hard to get into? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just legitimately asking. Let's see. We got 51. And that is 42 and 33. Okay. Nicely, they were kind to me and put all of the weapons and the arms that go with them really close together, and I like that. Let's see. Trying to keep up. Tyranids will get spicy in the new edition. Think so? I don't know. I heard everyone online collectively scream Tyranids and Orc players because hordes are going to be dead in the new edition, according to GW. This is internet people overreacting to some of the previews online. That's what I'm making fun of here in case someone didn't get it. 1, 2, 3. There should be a fourth one here. Is it just like hiding in plain sight? Sword. Sword, sword. Sword, sword. Weird. Did I really only get like 3 halberds? That's okay. We got plenty from the other one. Let's see. I've decided I'm making... I don't know how to pronounce that. Space Marine gear because I can't store a full orc army. Who can? Here we go. I was shocked by how small Carnifexes are. Yeah, they're actually not as beefy as they once seemed. The Tyranids are an interesting one because their model range, I feel like it really holds up, and I think part of it is the shapes are so organic. Because it's just living flesh and that kind of stuff is what I mean. Where, I don't know, maybe they just don't show age the same. As opposed to like hard right angles that don't quite line up with some of like the Imperial tanks and that kind of stuff. Where you're like, that's a really old kit. Let's see. It's Blood Angels, but Orky. Ah, okay, I dig it. I dig it. Size creep. I like it. Okay, well, y'all heard it here first. My next army apparently is going to be Maw Tribes. So let me get these arms cleaned off here. How many models is a Maw Tribe army? I know if you go straight Beast Claw Raiders, they're like 10 dudes. And it's not about having the most elite army, it's just having fewer models, right? I don't want... To me, a good army, honestly, is like maybe 40 models. And then anything beyond there is just giving yourself more and more options. But like... I don't know. There was that one... Was it like a year ago? I was doing the Skaven thing, and I was just like, I hate everything about this. Doug, you need at least one hammer. Do I? It's just, I'm not a big fan of that. Like, my thing with the hammer, okay, and this is kind of goes the same way with like AOS stuff too, is I just like when units are uniform, like they're all equipped the same. I don't know. I get what you're saying. Wait, the Marathi kit makes both versions of her in one box. Yes. Yep. Which, I mean, my initial reaction is like, whoa, did you think they split it up? But then I was like, oh, well, that's fair. They probably would. That doesn't seem so crazy, actually, now that I put it out there into the universe. Yes, both versions of Marathi come in the same box. Because she is one unit. And they packaged her as so. I want to do salamanders, but being fairly new, I'm worried my zero experience with freehand and a lack of green stuff, Drake's skin won't result in satisfying results. That is fair to be like apprehensive about starting anything. What I would say is that not everything in a salamander's army has to have reptile skin all over it. They are still space marines. They have to go to battle and can't bring all their accoutrement with them. So what I'm saying is don't worry about this. That's something you can learn later. If you're excited for something, always ride the passion. That's admittedly, that's from someone who sells armies every 2 to 3 months. So take that as you will. But for me, it's always a matter of just whatever excites you, just jump in, cannonball. So grab yourself some Primaris and knock yourself out. Seen some heroes in AOS that have the option of different weapons. Can't remember specifics though. Yeah, I don't know. I just love when a unit rolls all their dice together and it's just very clean and simple. I don't even like, even if it's the same weapon, I still don't like the whole, the hero of this unit gets +1 to their hit. And you're just like, no, why do I have to separate this? Just give me +1 attack. +1 attack for the hero is the best thing ever. Keep it simple. Or if you're going to do that, be like, while the hero is alive, the unit gets +1 to hit, or if the leader doesn't attack, then they get +1 to hit. That kind of stuff where it's just, you're still having the hero do something, but the profiles that you're rolling on are still the same, and I just do something like that. Okie dokie. Pretty sure there's some, unless I'm tripping. Doug on mixed weapons has clearly been scarred by brutes and iron shots. Yes, that is. It's not that I've been scarred by them so much as just really annoyed. Because, I mean, and really what it comes down to is there's enough moments in all of these games. I don't even care what game you're playing. There's enough moments in all of them where you're like, okay, what is this thing? You have to look at the profile again and like make sure you're getting it right and that kind of stuff. And that's fine. But like, you don't need to do that within a unit, right? Of just like, okay, what does this leader do? That kind of stuff. Like, nope, just get it out of there. I always like to stand up to make sure that their bodies look right. There we go. Peter, do I still make Infinity videos? Yes, I actually have notes for 2. They're going to be coming out this next week. And then I'm going to cool it on Infinity until we get the new edition. The reason being is, quite honestly, super transparent here. We're kind of saving up for a move at the end of the year. And turns out Infinity videos not that popular, which is a shame because it's a very cool setting. So I got to focus on what can help me achieve my goals and my life dreams, and honestly just things that I love that I just need to rekindle some love for. And so I'm going to get back into AOS and 40k with a vengeance. But I thought before I go hardcore into 40k and AOS, because I'm going to do lore weeks for both, we would finish out the stories I've started, like the faction lores and that kind of stuff from some of the other games. Hold on, this arm just does not want to stay on there. Too many weapon profiles. They fixed Ard Boys at least. Yes, yeah, Ard Boys was such a pain. The old version anyway. Forgive me, I have to go a little bit slow here because I'm really bad at getting all these things lined up. There we go, almost. Perfect, muy bien, great. Y'all remember getting assignments in school that were copies and like way darker than the teacher's copy? That's what Chaos Warrior Old Sculpt instructions are like. Yes, it is. 10,000%. Yep. It's like your substitute teacher Xerox something out of a book from the 70s. Nailed it. Can we expect a Grey Knights week somewhere down the line, or is that just pinned on the wall of crazy? Oh no. No, that's the thing where it's like I feel like I'm stretching myself too thin with all the different games. And so even though I'm still going to be playing Infinity and Wild West Exodus whenever I can, I am going to ease off them a little bit just temporarily on the channel so that I have the capacity to do dedicated lore weeks with like the cool intros. I stopped doing that for a little while. So I'm going to do all of that for 40K as well. Because turns out there's a big gap in the 40K community for someone who's just kind of nice and chill. Okay. Ooh, I like that one. He's like, oh, he's got it all mounted up. Sorry if this is not the most exciting stream. It's typically why I don't like building models on air, but that's all right. No one's ever complained. We're just hanging out, doing hobby together. What is everyone painting while you're there? Cool, yeah. He'll have his staff kind of upward. I don't think I have anyone else posed quite that way, so that's cool. Let's see. The new Chaos models are so good. My mate just picked up Archaon and is commissioning me to paint it. Sweet, Quiet Woods. It's going to be a long few months. Yeah, that is a beast of a model. Like, there's so much going on with it. My goodness. That's one of those, like, that's not one of those models where you pick it up, you're like, man, you know, I kind of want to paint something with, like, this color. No. That's a project. You want to paint Archaon, you got to mean it. Or you got to pay good money for it. Or get paid, apparently. Got to get to work. See you later, my friend. I'm painting Space Marine suppressors. Got Stormcast Lions of Sigmar. Okay. Spezia, thank you. Even Buildin also hang out. Oh, thank you so much, Spezia. That's very kind of you. So kind of you. Let's see what we got. Painting Iron Josh. Chip towards the house. Thank you. Just line this wrist up. We'll be ready to rock. There we go. Perfect. Only one more, and then the fun begins, where I'm gonna build. So, okay. Next question for everyone in the chat. And Chad, your vote counts as +1 because you totally got railroaded last time. So I have enough dudes to build one more unit in the Grey Knights box. The other 5 dudes can be built into a fast attack unit that can teleport across the board. Okay, they basically, once per game, they get like a teleport that launches them 12 inches forward. Or I can build a heavy weapons crew that they shoot bullets that are infused with psychic power. Now, both of those things are pretty cool. But what am I going to build on tonight's stream? Teleporter guys who are fast and speedy, or the heavy weapons team that shoots mind bullets? I guess not really mind bullets, because that's kind of what Smite or Arcane Bolt is, but you know what I mean. Question. I used to see a bunch of Stormcast with white hair. Is that done now? I used to see a bunch of Stormcast with white hair. I'm not quite sure what you mean, Stormcast with white hair. Are you talking about like the art? Because that's what the Celestial Vindicators look like. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm with my boy Chad. Okay, so we got teleport isn't necessary with Gate of Infinity. It's true. Teleport crew. Oh, Chad said teleport crew, so we've got at least 3 votes because one guy gave his vote to Chad. So that's 3 for teleporters. We've got 2 so far for the heavy cannons. OKSDM puts it at 4. Oh yes, somebody asked what kind of paint I was using. Yeah, I'm not like oath bound to it or anything like that, but I do use the Citadel plastic glue quite a bit. I like it. Oh, you're supposed to pour the glue via the metal rod? Yes. And if it ever gets jammed up, don't do what I do, which is put a lighter underneath it and let it burn away, because it has like flammable warnings all over it. But, you know. Doug from 2 Plus Tough says, live fast, die young. Let's see, you can't quite get this arm to line up here. As is my catchphrase on this channel, of course we all know. That's why it's not lining up, because the right arm was pushing way back. Yeah, that's looking better. The nice thing with the GW glue that I like is that it dries fairly slowly, and so like I can reposition stuff kind of as it's drying. That's always been nice, because I'm pretty derpy when it comes to lining stuff up on the first try. Clarify, both Art and GW painted. You see a bunch of white hair Stormcast. Oh, I only saw the one that was Celestial Vindicators. But I'll keep an eye out. I haven't seen anything like that recently. So maybe it was just a phase. Oh wait, I still gotta glue this guy. I forgot the lieutenant's hands are separate. Okay. I butchered my first daughter's Zakane with plastic glue because I didn't have that metal rod. Oh, interesting. A young boy has set himself on fire today after reportedly following the steps online persona from 2 Plus Stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that would be a fantastic Spiky Bits article that would blow up. YouTuber kills his fans. Death by Warhammer. Once your computer loads these 64 ads, you'll read about the terrifying tragedy of Doug from 2 Plus Tough. Okay, now we need helmets and shoulder pads. That's all that's left. Some kid burning himself on fire will just be the new version of their... when they blasted that news story of the guy setting his Dark Elf army on fire when AOS launched. I use a sewing needle. Oh, that's a great idea. That's probably way safer than my thing. Oh, wait, I don't want that one. I want this one over here. Let's see. Okay, so we need these things. This is the clips for the bolter. Just a point, if anyone is getting new Slaves to Darkness Terror set, or just the Crackerjack, which is what I call them, they are push fit, no customizing. Interesting. Even the Knights are push fit? Dang. Knights come with spears only. That's a very interesting shift. I definitely, yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I had the knights with the ensorcelled weapons, and they were unimpressive. I'm just gonna say. They were great because they had the more attacks, like, just in terms of, like, sheer number, but honestly, they weren't really that great. See a bunch of Christian engineers have it. The Lord Ordinator Vandus. Okay. Doug, you going to be doing a Luminous Lore week when the Battle Tome drops? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm very excited for it. Honestly, the only reason I haven't done a lore video on Hish, like the Realm Hish, is because I've been waiting to read the Luminous Realm Lords, because they've already showed that there's a picture of like the continent in there. I was like, ooh, I want that. I want to know like a specific place before I do that video. So, yeah, that's the only thing I'm waiting on. I'm very excited for it though. I like to keep all my stuff organized by dude. Starters that they are. I don't know. So, all that to say, techless longhorns. I don't. So yeah, actually, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the previews that we saw today. I think that's good live stream fodder. What do we think? You guys, I'm not going to look at the camera for a little bit because I'm going to be waxing poetically on my own opinions. So go ahead and tell me, what are your thoughts on the Lumineth article that came out today? Basically, in short, they showed us a preview of some of the rules. I'm going to go off and just say I think the rules look amazing. One thing that stood out to me, I'm gonna get my negative out of the way. I only have one thing, and it's not really, it's a soft negative, right? In terms of like, we don't really know the rule book, that kind of stuff yet. The only thing I see is that the rules they previewed are super wordy, and I made a joke about that on social media today. But they're just wordy, and it's not my favorite. Like in terms of like, I shouldn't have to read a dictionary to get this one unit's, special thing to work. That's kind of lame in my opinion. So that's my only negative that I have to say. And again, it's not a soft. The reason I call it a soft negative is because those might have just been like not great examples of what the rule, like they're not indicative of what every rule in the army is like. You know what I mean? So it could be like it just kind of gave me a wrong feeling for the army, whereas most of the units, they're very reasonable in terms of what they do and how much reading there is per war scroll. So like I said, soft negative. But onto the positives, lots of them. I love the fact that Games Workshop is really, they seem to be leaning in the direction of having factions have different resource mechanics. So like an Ossiarch Bone Reapers, it's like the tactical whatever thing where it's like they don't use command points for their special things. They use other stuff, which I can't think of the word of right now. Someone, if you're an Ossiarch Bone Reaper player, what do they call the thing that triggers their abilities? So they're experimenting with having non-command point stuff, essentially, like really what it is. And I kind of like it. I do. Let me put that there. Okay. And I think that's probably a win because it gives them more design space. As long as they put a lot of work into balancing those things, they're a win, I think, because they let you just do different stuff, and different stuff is so good. It's the lifeblood of these kinds of games. It does seem like they are going to be one of those armies that is, it might have a high skill roof. By that I mean a lot of it seems to be based on a lot of the special rules and abilities to really get the most out of the units seems to be based around movement. Specifically, some of the units, if you have them in relentless discipline points, thank you for OBR. If you have them stand next to each other and there's at least 3 models from the unit that are alive and they, are just like standing next to each other, stoic, godlike, I guess, they will get a bonus to being hit. So like it's harder to hit them. I could pull it up, but honestly, this is not a news stream. This is just me waxing poetically. So what I do think is cool is like I love the fact that there is a rule that rewards you just for smart model placement. What I will say, for me personally, like I'm not the best player. My thing is I don't really see synergies when I read the books. I have to like have someone explain it to me how these things, how this Rube Goldberg machine works. But one thing I do pride myself on that I am pretty good at in the game is model placement and movement. I'm really good at staying focused on objectives and having models where they need to be to cap them. I think having an army where part of their shtick is like rewarding you for that is a really cool thing. Actually, I want the other one. Here we go. Got that backwards. So I think that's a cool... Sorry, I kind of got lost there. I think that's a really cool idea there. Beyond the other stuff, I actually might pull up the article just to see what they are. Give me just a hot sec once this guy's bullet clip is on. There we go. Okay, let me actually go pull up the article here, and I'm just going to read through right quick. Because I want to be able to talk about it, but I'll just put it off to the side so I can... a quick reference. Warhammer community. Rules for the Realm Lords. Okay, yeah, so... with the Realm Lords, their thing is called Ether Quartz Reserve. Each unit starts the battle with 1 Ether Quartz in reserve. Once per phase, you can say that 1 unit will use its reserve. I'm curious as to how often, unless I just missed it, it says you start the battle with an Ether Quartz reserve, but I don't see anything that says you gain them. That might be something we just haven't seen yet. Heightened senses. You can say that a unit will use this ability when it is picked. If you do so, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by that unit until the end of the phase. So you can basically give them a one-time boost. Or a multiple-time boost, because they also have a few different things. Shining Company. Yep, subtract 1 from hit rolls that target a Shining Company. Yeah, so the way that works, that thing I was talking about, if you have all your models together in a clump from these specific types of units, not all of them, I'm assuming, but they can basically form a shield wall that the enemy has trouble seeing through, and it makes them harder to hit, but the trade-off is they can't move. So that's how you're going to get to objectives and just camp on them, right? I mean, just to secure them. Camping sounds bad, but it's how you hold them, which I like, to be honest with you, as someone who... I play Nurgle. At least that's the last few games that I played. The ones that, when I think of Age of Sigmar, come to memory, it is through playing Nurgle. And the whole shtick for my list is I get to the objectives and I sit on them. And that's it. So I'm like, oh, okay. I get that one. That one seems straightforward enough. This one has a bunch of flash on it. Give me 1 second, I'll keep going. I want to know everything about the giant cow mountain guy. He's my favorite model of that army. I don't really honestly like Techless, and that's a tough pill to swallow when it comes to thinking about that army. Like in terms of like if I want it or whatever. Just because, man, it just stinks if you don't like the big model. Let's see. And then they kind of go into some of the sub factions, which is like they have some lofty names: Gleaming Brightness, Unity of Purpose. Oh, but I don't know how I forgot about this. Okay, my favorite thing about the Lumineth, the thing that made me go from to interesting, is the fact that everyone is a wizard. Your baseline units are wizards. As students of Teclis, the warriors of the Lumineth Realm Lords are keenly attuned to magic, so all Venari units, that's pikemen, horsemen, bowmen, can cast magic. Each can unbind enemy spells or use the power of Hish. A spell boosts their excellent sun metal weapons, so they can buff themselves should they wish. So that is freaking awesome. Okay. So with that out of the way, I'm going to let's see. Aren't they literally just repeating the KO rule? Sort of. The KO one seems more tied to objectives, that kind of thing. But yeah. Let's see. I saw the white colors, high elves, realm of light, but no healing or restoration abilities. That's a fair point. They feel like a really high floor and really, really high ceiling skill-wise. That's probably a good way to say it. Love the new high elves. I hate the bullhorns. Yeah, me too. I think if I was gonna, guys, I'm torn. Okay, here's my feeling on them. Let's back it up and we'll get Doug off the hook when it comes to Maw tribes, and we'll talk about the possibility of Doug doing Realm Lords. Okay. Mainly because Jack from Rerolling Ones wants me to do them so that then he can buy them off of me. And I'm okay with that. That's the reality of, I'm okay with the logic of that. If I ever did Lumineth Realm Lords, I would want to, with those models specifically, the guys with the big bull heads. I was trying to think of a pun, but I couldn't think of anything on the fly. Missed my opportunity. So guys with the big bullheads, I would definitely go and raid some dark Eldar bits, and because they have some like very angry looking elven faces, and they are compatible. They do work side by side. So I'd probably do that instead. The only thing I don't like about those models is the helmet. And I was like, you know what? Honestly, that is quite literally the easiest bit on the model to replace. So I guess I can't ask for much more than that, but it still is a thing to consider. With them out of the way, the only model, like I said, that I'm really just not a fan of is the Teclis one. But even then, it's not that I'm not a fan of it. I actually love his design. He looks so imposing and arrogant and like an absolute tool, which is what Teclis is. It's his thing. My problem is the way that he's sculpted with his mount. Like, I love them individually. I just don't like the way that they are put together. With him just kind of like doing the Rio de Janeiro Tony Hawk Pro Skater jump where you like, have the Christ Jesus hold your board out to the side like you're up on a cross type thing. I'm like, I'm not feeling it. So, I don't know. What I will say is that the more I look at the models, the more I like them. Like, I like them a lot. One thing it occurred to me is, like, if I got them... Well, it actually occurred to me because I was making fun of them I was laughing along with Vince and Tom from Warhammer Weekly, because what do they call them? The Texas Longhorn, or Teclis Longhorns, whatever. And I was laughing at that, and I was like, but wait, what if I did them in Texas Longhorn colors? And then it occurred to me, I was like, honestly, the reason I don't like the promo material for the Lumineth is the color choice. It's white cloth on white armor. And I was like, there's nothing visually interesting about them. And then I took a picture of them and kind of like photoshopped just lightly. I mean, it was just like using like filters, but I was like, what would it look like if they had even just like blue robes underneath to make them look like the old high elves of yore? And they look awesome. Like, the models are awesome. I just think they really chose the wrong paint scheme. And, well, they also straight up didn't deliver on their promise of having old world elves. They're different. It is what it is, but... Battle Cattle, I like it. If you detach him from the mount, he will look better. Let's see. I'm not feeling the Jesus on this model, Doug 2020. Yep. There you go. Next Spiky Bets article about me. YouTuber disavows core conservative values. I'm new Age Sigmar and have been enjoying your lore videos so much. Thank you for making them. Oh, no problem. My absolute pleasure. Have a good time doing it. Just talking about stuff I like. That's all there is to it. I'll be doing some 40k stuff as well here pretty soon. Now, one thing we did see from a White Dwarf picture leak is some of the points, and the Spearman run, I think in like the 120 range. The cavalry were not too expensive either, and that it's hard because I do want my next project. I want all projects going forward to be somewhat elite in their points cost, and so I'm like, don't know what I want to do. It also occurs to me that if I did jump whole hog into Luminous Lords, I could say that I'm one of the few AOS YouTubers who's doing it, because the general opinion amongst the rest of them seems to be, nah. If you like it, go do it, but I don't like it. Or outright hatred. There's really not a whole lot in between. Doug, not feeling the Jesus on this. Doug, I'm gonna paint these dudes in Texas burnt orange. Exactly. Exactly. I wouldn't actually, if I got in the army, I wouldn't. I would actually probably do blue robes, white armor. That's my thought. Okay, but what about Sons of Behemoth? I freaking love the look of the Mega Gargants. My thing on the Sons of Behemoth, and the reason it's not really in contention for my next army, because even though I want a more elite thing, is I love the new Uber Gargant guys. Love them. There's no ifs or buts to that statement. I just like them. One thing though is that I really, as much as I like them, I dislike the current giant kit, the El Guzzler Gargant or Chaos Gargant. I just don't like them, straight up. And I don't really know of a way around that, because he's gonna be important in that unit, if for no other reason than the fact that he's gonna be the cheapest troop probably there. I don't know. Cody Griffin question: why the hate for the new elves, do you think? Speaking 100% opinion that is not intended to throw shade in any facet whatsoever. I'm going to say that a lot of it has to do with people carrying emotional attachments and baggage to the old world high elves. And to those folks' credit, when GW started talking about the idea of the Luminous Lords, they did not even imply, they straight up said, this will be like the high elves of old. And so all those folks got a certain level of expectation about the design direction and that kind of stuff. And then those dreams were smashed upon the rocks when the Cow Mountain boy was shown, and people were like, what? And it just wasn't what they wanted. I think that's probably the biggest part of it. And that's a twofold problem of their marketing team telling us the product in an incorrect way, because it is admittedly not what they said it was initially. And then the other part is people being very attached to, no, I'm not going to say too attached, but very attached to the aesthetic that they were initially told, and are unwilling or unable to be like, okay, it's not what you said it was, but I dig what it is, right? And that's kind of honestly, that's the official 2+ tough stance of the Lumineth. Whether or not I get into them or not, I can be like, yeah, you didn't market this quite right in the initial lead up, but also I like what it is, you know? For me, it's kind of like, I don't know, grape Kool-Aid. Has anyone in their lives ever drank grape Kool-Aid and thought, wow, this tastes like a refreshing batch of grapes? Like, no, it doesn't taste like grape. but whatever it tastes like is pretty good. So that's about all the thoughts I got. Give me one sec here. Got my Grey Knights Codex. I just want to see. So the vote came in, and it's gonna be the teleporty guys. Chad, if you're still in the chat, I'm gonna give you the choice. Do you want to be Chad the Swordsman, or do you want to be Chad the Interceptor, which is the name of the unit that teleports? Like, you can be their champion. That's the elite. Where's the Interceptor? Okay, here we go. Armed with swords. Any model can replace... Okay. So, again, the Interceptors can also replace their stuff with melee weapon, or any weapon. Let's see. For every model, 5 model unit, one Interceptor can replace his Nemeforcer with an item from the special weapons list. What are special weapons? Incinerator, Silencer, and Psy-Cannon. Let's see what those do. If Chad ain't here, I'll be his proxy. We'll give him some time. Maybe he's in the middle of painting some detail. I'll channel my inner Chad. Oh god, please don't. What did we say? Incinerator. Let's check that one out, because that one sounds nifty for a teleporting unit. 8 inches, assault D6. It's a heavy flamer. Okay. Silencer and Psy-Cannon. Silencer and Psy-Cannon. Boom, 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 boom. I think we're going to go with the Psy-Cannon. So it's going to be a unit of incinerators. Probably going to go with swords, because I like them. Because we did halberds on these guys. So we'll do swords, and then just for my good friend Ben, who is watching in, we will give the leader a hammer. Actually, we're going to do all swords and a hammer on the leader. I want to save that cannon, because with that cannon, I have enough stuff that when I get kits in the future, I can actually deck them out with whatever weapons I want. So that's actually a good call. So Interceptor Squad, 4 swords, 1 hammer. We got this. Let me just grab my bits. And also, I'm not in a huge rush to get the heavy weapons, just because the Sisters of Battle that I have all kinds of heavy weapon stuff. Last question. Oh, you can ask as many questions as you want. Official Doug opinion on who the Stormcast Prime is. Stormcast Prime. Oh, the Celestin Prime? I think it's Karl Franz, but they didn't at the time want to say that it was Karl Franz, because they were still trying to break away from the old world, and now they're kind of like, oh, there's money in that IP. Let's back it up, pack it in, and go back to the old world. And so now we're seeing a lot more of the old world characters come through, but I think originally that was the idea. It's supposed to be the former emperor of the Empire. You know you're into Primaris when you mishear Interceptor as Intercessor. Dude, GW does no favors for any of us when it comes to these naming conventions. Between all the Stormcast names and then also the Space Marine names they're coming out with lately, like, I was audibly relieved. I was like, oh, when I saw that the Primaris on bikes, they're just called Outriders. I'm like, thank you. It doesn't end with an oars at the end. Like, Intercessor, whatever, that kind of thing. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we need 5 backpacks. And they get the fancy spider teleport backpacks. Cries and Stormcast Eternal names. In regards to Lumineth, I'm really just excited on the potential for models in the future, given the quality of Lumineth. Yeah, I agree. Intercessor is the one who intercesses. Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Like, like some of those names I'm like super on board with, like Judicator. I think that's a cool name. It makes him sound like Judge Dredd or something, you know what I mean? Just some kind of like he's got some oomph, you know? Judicator I'm down with, but like the more you use the same I don't know, words that rhyme, it just kind of seems hokey, where you're just like Liberator, Prosecutor, Judicator, Stormcasticator, Prognosticator. I have to ask what the word intercessor means. Yeah. I mean, the Bone Reapers kind of scratch the Tomb King itch. It's true. It is true. They're in the same wheelhouse, I would say that, probably. I don't want that little bit. It's just going to break off later. Why paint it? Intercession is interviewing on behalf of another. So says Google. Okay, well, are they interviewing somebody on behalf of the Emperor? To intercede is to interrupt. Yeah. Really hoping we get a model for Vlad. Yeah, I would, man. I'm not someone who like is really into the old world and is like, I want to see this character brought back. But I will say, Vlad von Karstein is actively one that I want. I want him. Yes, please, thank you. Mainly because him and Isabella is one of the very few, but also incredibly interesting love stories that they've ever had in Warhammer. And it's a cool one, where they just keep missing each other, and you're like, oh, this is so sad. Let's see. For me, Bone Reapers don't really do it for me. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is a very specific aesthetic. I will say, when I was looking at those models, because they sent me, GW was kind enough to send me a Feast of Bone set, we were kind of figuring out what we wanted to do with it between me and the Rerolling Ones guys. And like, you know, Brent from their channel ultimately started building, and he's painting them right now, and he's doing a great job. It's a slow go though, because man, those models are so stinking detailed. But I bring all up to say that like the only scheme for that army that worked for me, that really scratched an itch, was what turned out to be like the one that everyone complains about, where it's like red armor over dark black bone. Trying to think of their name, but it's the competitive one that everyone's like, meh. So I was like, no thanks. Okay, we'll stop there for right now. You don't like the Storm Lords with their stormy storm weapons and their storm mounts with their stormy iconography. You don't like the Storm Riding with their thunder hammers. Yeah, no. Let's see. What do you think the chances of seeing a new Soulblight army soonish? I'm not gonna rule it out for sure. I have no clue. Again, I can't emphasize enough how much I don't know about, you know, just general life stuff, but more importantly, AOS releases. I wouldn't be surprised if it came after Gargants. Like, if they're gonna do it. Because whenever they launch a new edition, if you have watched closely GW history, typically what happens is they launch a game and they let it sit for a while. So we're sitting right now on the precipice of 9th edition 40k. And so we're going to see a whole bunch of releases for that, because they're not just releasing, you know, the box set. They're going to be releasing smaller variants of it to get new people in the game. They're going to be releasing rules, and there's going to be probably supplement models to go with the set, so you can bulk up those units. So like, you know, selling the bikes individually, that kind of stuff that they're going to have release cycles for. So I think it's going to be a bit before we see the next AOS army. But once that initial sales wave chills out for 40k, I think after that is when we're going to see a lot of AOS stuff. And the reason I say that is because the designers of 40k need things to just breathe for a second so they can figure out, okay, where are the problem points with the game? You know what I mean? Like, and try to reassess, because they still got to get ready for their chapter approved as their version of General's Handbook. So yeah, it'll be a bit. So it's possible, what, if I was gonna give you a date range on that, oof. I don't know. It's hard to say fall or winter, because those are like, that's when we start seeing Battle Force boxes, not so much new armies. Then again, Gloomspite Kits came out in January that one year, so I don't know. Could be. Nothing would make me happier for Christmas than Soulblight, but yeah, I think it'd be cool. I want a Soulblight army real bad, just vampires and that kind of stuff. I do honestly hope that they go the route of, you know, not saying that the Legions of Nagash book is outdated, right? Everything that's in the book is still completely legal. Use the War Scrolls within it, but sideways of that, they're going to start making those armies full factions. So kind of like how Nighthaunt is a full faction, but also you can take some Nighthaunt units in Legions of Nagash. I want them to do something similar, with a huge asterisk that I'll get to in a second, but basically just, you know, picking a sub-faction out of these big mega books that we have now and expanding it. So like, I also want a Devoted of Sigmar book that's just them with a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm not sure how that would work, but I want it. And the asterisk that I put there for that last comment about Legions of Nagash is the only design thing that I don't like about that book is the fact that Nighthaunt units that can go on Legions of Nagash are like strictly better than they are in Nighthaunt, which is lame. You should, I mean, I like the ability to take other stuff, or to take other factions, units, and that kind of thing in your army. I think that's really cool, like allies, but they should never be. A unit should always be best in its own army. How about that? Let's see. What do you think about rumors that the Elven Gods splitting out of Grand Alliance Order, read Sigmar, into their own Grand Alliance? For Elves specifically, I think it makes perfect sense, because Marathi, Malarian, Teclis, and Tyrion at least, because they're still Alariel, and she could do her own thing. She's pretty firmly in with Sigmar at this point, narratively. But those four, they've been doing their own little side quest together, just them, for some time now. So, yeah, if they were just like, here's the 4 Grand Alliances, and elves. It was just them. That'd be cool. Let's see. My Death Army, 1 White King and 240 skeletons. I never win. Well, you're probably never going to win friends if you're pushing 240 models around. I'm just kidding. Let's see. Legion of Nagash should be the Cities of Sigmar of Death for sure. Not the definitive vampire. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, here's a smattering. It is a functional replacement to the Grand Alliance books. Because if you don't know, when AOS first came out, all the War Scrolls were in these dumpy Grand Alliance books. Where it was just that. It was just Grand Alliances. Nothing interesting necessarily about them. Let's see. Sorry, bumped my mic. Let's see. I feel like Gork and Mork would certainly Oh, Snatch His Soul. Yeah, from Grimgore. Yeah, Grimgore's a cool dude. I'm playing him in Total War right now, actually, with my buddy Jack. He's a beast. I will say, if you are not playing Total War, do it. Catch the fever. I don't do like the competitive stuff like Lore Master Sotek does, but I kind of just do a little bit of light role playing when it comes to what factions I'm running with. So I have a campaign going where it's just me, in case Jack's busy, or I'm not available. And then, so in the one with Jack, I'm Grimgore Ironhide. He is Azhag the Slaughterer. I don't know my old world very much. So he's that. And then in my solo campaign, I am Vlad von Karstein. Let's see. Hot take: Beastmen belong in destruction, not chaos. I generally agree with you. If they had, because before they brought them over to AOS, like when they were still operating with their war scrolls and that kind of stuff, you know, and there wasn't like an official lore, they could have written them in a myriad of ways, given them a whole bunch of different backgrounds and motivations, but they chose to give them a motivation that is identical to pretty much every army in the Destruction faction. So it begs the question, why aren't they just Destruction? I don't get it. Whereas if they had, you know, my point is that they didn't write anything in their lore that makes them like so entrenched in chaos that it just makes more sense for them to be there. And they have the opportunity, and you look at stuff like Flesh Eater Courts, where it's like all that lore came out of nowhere, and it was amazing, and I love it. Because, you know, there wasn't the whole mental disorder that was just a madness that was transferable and that kind of stuff before. And so it's like, okay, well, you could have made whatever you wanted up. You chose to make it a kind of a copy-paste from any Destruction battle tome minus Gork and Mork. So it's just like, I don't know why you chose this, but you did, and we all have to live with it. Okay, so what do I need to do? I need to do 4 guys with swords, 1 bro with a hammer. Let's see. Afraid if the Soulblight books come out, I'll have to say goodbye to my Hex Wraiths and Mortis Engine. Why would you say goodbye to those? Mortis Engine, I think, would be a shoe-in. It's a beautiful model. And Hex Wraiths are still around because they're in Night Hunt. Oh, do you mean like in your personal collection? Like they wouldn't gel with the army? I've got Repants and Grimgore going. Both brutally tearing it up. Nice. Well, Kevin raises an interesting point. So you think you could argue there could be offshoots of them to join Destruction? I guess my thought. What I honestly would truly love to see GW do, and this is something that's so big it would have to happen at the next edition. But what I would love to see is cross Grand Alliance factions. And it could be something that is purely narrative, right? Let's say they say, hey, here is general rules for being a Destruction army, okay? You don't get your allegiance abilities except for when it comes to what counts as battle line. So if you take a specific general, you can still have some troops be battle line. This way you can play whatever armies you want, but you don't get any special allegiance abilities. And you can't use your artifacts like that. Instead, you can use this spell lore, these realm-specific ones, and that kind of stuff, where it's like, here's Allegiance Gur, and now I can make a Cities of Sigmar army that represents a city existing in Gur. That's just an example. But you know what I mean, where it's like, they have just all these different motivations and stuff. I could have a Destruction human army, where they're more primal and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see that. And they can make as many restrictions as they want on it. Like, you can't have a Chaos Stormcast army. It's kind of like their whole jam is kind of fighting chaos. That's reasonable. But, yeah, I would really love to see them start doing that because, you know, they wrote the Mortal Realms to be this incredible sandbox. Too big, some would argue. Many would argue, including me at first. But then they, you know, as they're kind of making these factions, well, some of them, they're a little bit narrow in terms of like letting you do whatever you want to do. And so it's like, we need to find a way around that. So just, even if it's just a purely narrative thing where you're all of a sudden allowed to, like, you know, drop some of your abilities that you get, and maybe the ones are more derpy, but you know what? They're flavorful, and I'll take that. So maybe Realm Allegiances as opposed to Grand Alliance. Yeah, something like that. Or, I mean, because they have Grand Alliance Allegiances, buff those up and make it so that any army can declare that they're part of a Grand Alliance, with a few exceptions, like I mentioned. So, like, I'm building my Cities of Sigmar army. I can be like, we're going to play as a Destruction faction. And now I have the Destruction Allegiance abilities and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's a thought. So, let's see. Somebody asked a question. Oh, Stuart. Stuart Mortimer, will you be buying the Luminous Realm Lords? With an exclamation point and a question mark. I don't know, man. I'm debating. So far in this stream, I've said that I'm going to be building, what did I say? Oh, Maw tribes. And then I was like, maybe Luminous Realm Lords. And I was like, well, I could certainly get special snowflake privileges if I do Realm Lords, because no other YouTubers seem to like them for some reason. Let's see, what do we got? So I need 55. Give me 1 sec, I'm just looking for a part here. Okay, here we go. So yeah, I don't know. It depends on how much I'm being tempted here. So maybe, do you think we'll ever see a Git Mob Grots as a full faction? It depends. So if you just mean like, is there ever going to be a new Grot faction? I have no doubts. At some point there will be a new Grot faction. They're too much of a fan favorite. People love them for kit bashing, because there's some crossover model-wise with 40k orcs and that kind of stuff. Like, there's just a lot of opportunities. I have no doubts. When it comes to, do I think we're going to see Git Mob in the way that it has hereto been viewed? No, I think it'll be something completely different. The kit, those molds are so old. There's a lot of problems with them, and I think that we want to take them into a new direction, which I fully approve of. 55, 47, 31. So, yeah. No, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a new Grot faction, but I don't think it's going to be the old Git Mob just revitalized. Because if nothing else, people already own those models, and GW wants to sell you new stuff. Gotta get that pipe up. Let's see. Ideas on what to do with the extra warrior model you get in the regiment box. Nope. No, I don't. I got nothing. Yeah, if you make the Slaves to Darkness, you do have an extra guy, don't you? No, I got nothing for you, man. Off the top of my head. Put him off to the side in case you lose another dude. Question, because I'm a liar, Total War, Age of Sigmar, Realmgate Wars? Yeah, dude. I would be so in like Flynn with that. And I think, I truly think if they made a Total War Age of Sigmar game, I think it would be better than the Total War Warhammer ones. And the reason I say that is because at that point you are giving game developers license to do all kinds of crazy stuff that would be so rad to see. You know, I mean, imagine like Stormcast arcing in from the sky. You got realm gates where random effects happen if you go near them. You know, I mean, there's a lot of like in-game balancing that would be required, of course, but just in terms of like the things that happen in AOS, the scale of stuff, right? That you could have an entire battle on the back of like a god beast's back and that kind of stuff. I just feel like a game developer would love that freedom, like artistically, you know. To be like, we can literally do whatever we want, and these things all sound amazing. The fort that they fight in one of the Realm Gate Wars, actually it's All Gates. It's the last one, where it's like a constant whirling of cogs, and because Duarden built it, and it's like it's a solid place, but it's like it morphs and changes as the cogs move. Like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Are you kidding me? Let's see. Have a good day, Hugh. Take it easy. Yeah. Cody, you got any other questions for me? You've been doing great with conversation starters lately. Sorry, I'm just looking to make sure I didn't miss anything on the chat. But yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking real hard about the Realm Lords. But it's like, how much of me... This is an honest question I have to ask myself, because I am this person. How much of me legitimately likes the Realm Lords, and how much of me wants to get them just to be a special snowflake because people don't seem to like them very much? Because those are both very real emotions for me. Let's see. Oh yeah, sieges would be nuts. Yes, that'd be amazing. Yeah, no, I'd be up for it. And also, some of the assets translate pretty well. Like if they just put a little more work. Like for example, there are a few things in Total War that I love seeing more than the Doom Wheel of the Skaven moving. It makes me happy. Literally every time I see it. I'm gonna skip this song. For some reason it comes up every once in a while. Let's see. And it's this weird song where it does this weird bass line. Okay. Cody says to talk too much. No, you're good, dude. You're good. It's conversation starters. This is the whole point. We're hanging out. We're talking. This is how we get hobby done. We just... I don't know about you guys, but it always goes faster for me when I'm chatting with people and hanging out. It seems faster. I still move very slow when I build stuff. KO ships in Total War. Oh, yeah. That'd be amazing, because then you can have some of them, like you can have the bigger ones have the bigger ones be able to like stand in one place or like hover and like, you know, barf cannons all over the place. But then the smaller ones, maybe they can't stop. And so that they're whirling in place kind of thing. Oh, that'd be so neat. Doug sips his latte. I was in the Realm Lords before they were cool. Exactly. It's just what living in Seattle area does to you, right? Turns you into a hipster. Okay, got that. Okay, one more set of arms. Kevin, question. Way out there dream faction that doesn't exist yet. Oh, like if I could make my own faction willy-nilly way out there doesn't exist. If I can make my own faction. I would go with a Duarden faction, which is something that might shock people. I'll go with the Duarden faction, where Grugni is the god, and it has a mix of Duarden engineers and like automata, like Metal Man gears and whirling, fiddling bits and that kind of stuff, where you have like mechanical men fighting and the Duarden engineers with them. Because then you could go a few different routes. You could have a Horde army, right, where it's a bunch of Duarden warriors and that kind of stuff, you know, with weapons and guns and that kind of thing. But also you could lean heavily into the elite mechanical support for the army kind of thing. I think would be really cool. That's what I would go. If I could do anything, that's what I would make. Also, I want Grugni back in the lore because he's cool as all get out. I mean, he's technically in the lore. He's just kind of not doing much. Dude, I was just talking about some of that with my buddy. Ah, nice. Nice. I should probably put glue on the part before I try gluing something to it. Question, will you play Soulbound? What would you be? I'm a Fire Slayer all day. For me, would I play it? Yes. Have I played it? No. I'd like to. I'd like to because I've never played a role-playing game. As far as what I'd like to play, I really want to be a Devoted to Sigmar guy. I will say that one of the best things about that book, that as I was going through, is like I just feel like they made every race and class and that kind of thing, they just feel so interesting, and I just want to try them all. And that's a testament to good design. There was a Warhammer Weekly show, and they were talking about the different classes and stuff, and the guys didn't seem too keen on it, but they're also way more into RPG stuff than I am. But I don't know. Yeah. Sigmund, Locke, any cool lore tidbits for a beginning Khorne player? Khorne tidbits. Let me think on. One of my favorite things about the Khorne army, Blades of Khorne, is when a Mighty Lord of Khorne gets one of the flesh hounds or whatever like that, the demon dogs that go with him. The dog, even though like when you're playing the game, it's like strictly like a helper. Like it's like, oh, good boy, he gets to do all these attacks. The dog is actually there to make sure that the Mighty Lord of Khorne keeps honoring Khorne and keeps killing enough, because if not, he's there to kill the warband leader very quickly and brutally. And I like that fact where it's like, I like that Khorne gives you a gift, which is, you know, the dog does help you fight better and stuff, but the actual purpose, and it's made very clear, is that no, he's gonna kill you if you screw up. I like that. I'm just going to hold this down for a hot sec because it doesn't seem to want to meld there. In reference to AOS Total War Game, I did read somewhere about an AOS real-time strategy game being licensed and signed between Front Tide Dev and GW. Cool. Have homebrewed some Destruction Faction races for Soulbound. Nice. Check out Khorne Week from Doug's videos. Oh, yeah. Does anybody else find Korgus cool in his twice failed attempt at demonhood? Hilarious. You know, I like him so much. Like, I want a Korgus Cole, I don't know, series book. I mean, well, he had Red Feast, but that was like his backstory. But they haven't done much with him in forever. And I was like, no, talk more about Korgus. He was tied with Nurgle in my brain for starting my next big project. I was like, I'm not sure which one I want to go with. Ultimately, I said Maggotkin because there were fewer models. Although I do like the corn stuff. But I think that I would get made fun of a whole heckin' lot if I was like, by the way, screw Nurgle, corn time. Okay. Yeah, but I do like Korguskull. He's a super awesome character, and his failing upward journey at becoming a demon prince is pretty awesome. Here we go. It's funny, the last guy that I built and this guy literally used the same arms, and for some reason this guy was like a way bigger pain in the butt to put together. A lot of heroes from early days of AOS seem to have fallen by the wayside. Agreed, and that's a real shame. I do wonder how much of that has to do with the explosion in popularity of Total War, that we're seeing a lot of old world characters come back rather instead of development on new ones that they've made. And I don't have any proof of a shift company-wise or anything like that, but it just seems to me like they're really focusing a lot more on old world characters than they are current stuff. So, question: in my opinion, find the new take on Khorne dumb. Too much blood and too much skulls without honor and glory in combat, plus cannibalism. Your thoughts? I partially agree with you. As an army, no, I think that their focus on skulls and blood is awesome. But unit to unit, like if you're like when I did the lore week for Khorne, like you read Blood Reavers, who are supposed to be like the bottom of the barrel, or I guess I'll go like this so you guys can see it. Bottom of the barrel. And they're like, these guys are angry. And then like you go up the next round, it's like, but these guys are even more angry. And then you go to the next one, like, these guys have reached new heights unheard of anger. And you're just like, okay, come on. We can describe these guys differently a little bit, can't we? So what I'm saying is that the faction lore as a whole, I feel like is awesome. The individual unit lore, when you get down to that level, you're just like, oh, I wonder if this guy's angry. Read the first sentence, and you're just like, yep, he's pretty angry, all right. That kind of thing. So I'm like, So, yeah, but I can see what you mean. Like once I pulled away from the individual unit lore, looking at it as a whole, I'm like, okay, I'm much more happy with this from like a top-down view. But I understand what you're saying, 100%. Think the Fire Slayers will get some love soon. I can't think of anything. Honestly, I'd love for them to. I want them to get more units that aren't just naked dudes with axes. Just to get some visual diversity in that faction. You know what I mean? Like different kinds of units and different poses. Because right now, like, telling the difference between a Berserker and a Hearthguard dude are just like, Anger Lords of Angramar, exactly. Question: any favorite basing pastes or technical paints? Try GW Battlemire, but the price per milliliter is steep. I'll be honest with you, I typically go with the GW texture paint. That's what most of my armies have. The big exception in my current roster here is my Nurgle, which I went and green stuff rolled custom bases for them, which was awesome looking, and I love them. Not an experience I would ever do again, because the amount of work it takes to get a base ready to just then put an unpainted model or an unfinished model on it so that you can then finish it. You're just like, oh god, I feel like I'm not making any progress. even though technically you are. But it's hard to quantify, but feeling like you're making progress is just as important as making progress when it comes to the hobby. Because if I had sat here for this long and I didn't have a fully painted or a fully built unit, I'd be really defeated. But luckily, this is my last guy. So, whatever. Fire Slayers are perfect Clone Wars. I like them. I mean, I had a Fire Slayer army. Jack has it now. But I just got tired of the same basic model. I just think Skull Pyramid Go Boom last time blasted with Time Cannon are funny. Yeah. As cool as many of the units are, I really want to know minutia, like what's a Cornate life during downtime. That's a really good point. I think they didn't have a good picture of what that was when AOS launched. But now we're seeing stuff with like some of the Dark Oath short stories that have come out and the novellas where they really are shedding light on that. Of like, it's a tribal life and they're all jockeying for power, but they're not just outright murdering each other perpetually. They have to like work together on some level. Some of the leaders like rise and fall in favor. I don't know. So I agree with you 100%. I want to know more of what daily life is like if you're a chaos worshiper. That's almost... Did I do it perfectly right on the first try? Nope, sure didn't. Okay. Give me a hot sec. I'll be right back to talking here. Told you before I even started. Least favorite thing is putting two-handed weapon models together. There we go. In like flood. Concerning Khorne, I feel the blood-crazed, skull-seeking madman, devoid of honor and glory, definitely feels more chaos-like, but doesn't leave as much room for story development. Well, yeah, yes. What I would say is that if you're just looking at the Battle Tome lore, I completely understand. And I completely agree with you and Cody, where it can seem very, very... There's no, martial power or prowess, something like that. No honor. But I feel like, when we read when we read about Korgus Kull in the opening Realmgate War books, not the campaign books, but like the novels that came out in support of it, he definitely seemed like a thinker. You know what I mean? Like, he knew what was going on. He's like a leader of men. He gets the Chaos armies in line, that kind of stuff. And I just don't think we see enough of that. Honestly, I think that's why it's a shame that we don't follow Korgus Kull more, because he was one of the few characters, or Chaos characters, where you're like, this dude's not dumb. Like, all of them have some kind of cunning, but like, he's also like someone who understands war and prowess, martial prowess and that kind of stuff. Nothing from that one. What do I need? Heads. And I need bullet clips. But I could see that. I mean, it's the same problem that, honestly, a lot of battle tomes have. With the exception of things like Cities of Sigmar and Legions of Nagash, where they're really like hodgepodges of different units. Because if I go read my Magakin of Nurgle book, it's like just replace anger and rage with fecundity and disease, and it's the same thing. Like, they unit to unit, they don't really grow in creativity a whole lot with their descriptors. Oh, wait. Kevin Nettleton, you typed in F. Is my feed still going? Can someone confirm that it's still working? Usually when there's someone who types F in there, it's like, Doug, your feed is dead. I thought cannibalism was a Slaanesh thing, and Khorne hates Slaanesh. I've never heard of it being a Slaanesh thing, like a specific Slaanesh thing, but I could be wrong. First time for everything. Yes, it is. Okay. Oh, you're good, buddy. Don't you worry about it. I'm just paranoid because honestly, like this mic, every once in a while, the cord is kind of bent. I need to get a new one, and so sometimes the sound goes out. So it's just a sad 30-year-old man talking to himself in a room, building toy soldiers, talking to himself, thinking he's talking to the world, thinking he's telling great stories, you know. But the truth is much sadder than that. So I just wanted to make sure I'm not just doing that. The Maggotkin wormed forward wormishly. Exactly. Yep. So that's what I was talking about. Yeah, it's just... And Beasts of Chaos is the same way with like how savage all the animals are. Like that word savage and savagery, any form of it is just like... I don't know. You'd think the author got paid by every time he says it. I mean, it's not bad. I actually love their lore. But it's just years like after a while, it's like, okay, I don't. And that's honestly why the last few lore weeks that I did, because, you know, before the battle tomes kind of dried up, they took it easy on them. Before they started to slow down, I, towards the end of those lore weeks, I kind of just started like skipping some units or just like summarizing them very briefly, or just like, yep, and this is just like a angrier Khorne dude. The things that I like when they do in battle tomes, and I don't know why my brain just immediately drifts to Chaos battle tomes specifically, but when they do stuff like rituals, so for example, the Skull Reapers in the Blades of Khorne and the Puskull Blight Lords in Maggotkin of Nurgle. Sorry, my brain is like operating at full capacity. Remember these unit names. They're all actually what you're seeing is someone who's in the middle of or has just completed like a ritual to prove to their god that they love them, right? Or they're devoted. So the Skull Reapers are in the middle of a ritual where every day they have to keep reaping skulls, worthy ones specifically, which is important. And then the Maggotkin with the Puskull Blight Lords, the ritual is they take a worm inside their body, it eats them inside out, and then that worm grows into a beautiful butterfly, which is the rot fly that they fly around on. And like, that's the kind of unit lore where I'm like, okay, you're not telling me they're gross or they're angry. You're showing me. Like, you don't have to tell me that these guys, all they want to do is kill and reap skulls. Show me a guy who's like, you know what I do? I wake up in the morning, I put my pants on one leg at a time, and then I go kill 8 people that need it or deserve it. You know what I mean? Like, where you're not just telling me that they're a badass, but you're showing me, like, this is what they do every day. I'm like, yes, more of that. You can have the Blood Reavers, you know, be your angry nobodies who are just frothing and with rage, and they have no sense among them. Like, that's fine. And then when that rage tempers, they chill out and they start doing these various trials and rituals and that kind of thing, and make each one of them unique. Like, that's rad. It is what I would prefer to see. And the fact that, like, you know, I mean, those are uncommon within those books, right? Those are 2 specific examples. The Wrathmongers are really cool in Khorne. God, I'm going to talk myself into playing Khorne now. You guys give me the death of me. So, because they're so cool. But yeah. Let's see. Typically is Khorne versus Slanesh. Yep. Yup. So yeah, I don't know. It's like I think it would go a long way. This is my point, bringing it back to what we were talking about. I think it would go a long way if, even if the battle tome lore was very, blood for the blood guard, kill, murder, go crazy. If they had unit lore that was very focused on, like, here's what that overall theme looks like in a very specific way, I think that would go a long way to making them more interesting. Right? What is, being crazy and bloodthirsty could be cannibalism and madness, like it is for the Blood Reavers, or it could be a tempered promise. It's an ongoing thing, like the Skull Reapers. On the other hand, there's Khorne, who hates magic. Zinchu loves magic. Spezia, Doug, just do Slaves of Darkness and you can still play with all your Nurgle. That is true. That is true. And a smart man would do that. But that's not who runs 2+ stuff. It's the other guy. The guy who trades armies every 2 months. Let's see. Mortis engine is done. Well, a couple finishing touches to go. And I haven't picked out a writer, but I've included a little Elder Scrolls Easter egg. Ooh, what's your Easter egg? I'm curious. I love Elder Scrolls. I kind of see the Blood Reavers as the Helots, Blood Warriors, Spartans, underclass. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, they are the most base level for sure. Which is great. I mean, have them be, so angry that they can't think straight, and have all the guys who have enough sense to, like, make vows and promises and achieve great deeds on the battlefield, have them, all have different reasons for why they do what they do. Heshut is the red-headed stepchild. Hornrat is their crazy pet. I love it. More like 2+ armies per month. I don't know. I've already got a long list of buyers who are like, hey, listen, if you ever get rid of that Magakin, maybe you can slide some my way. It's like, but the bases wouldn't even match what you have. Doesn't matter. I'm like, okay. Noted. Okay, Teleporter Tim is right there. He is the leader of this fine unit. Cute little touch. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see it. Yeah, I'm a huge sucker for anything that is Elder Scrolls or Fallout. Maybe I just like punishment. I don't know. That's why I liked Games Workshop when they came out with AOS, and Bethesda when they came out with 76. Oh, admittedly, I've been playing Bethesda games for forever. And I do love me some 76. Let's see. I wanted your orcs so bad. Oh. Well, much like fashion, my interest in armies happens in season, so it'll come back around. At some point, I'll probably have them again, and I'll make sure they get to you. Don't play Fallout the game. Oh, you mean the miniatures game? Ooh, Davis, hot takes coming in. Tell me, why shouldn't I play Fallout the game? Because I'm incredibly interested in that game. As a matter of fact, I have a buddy named Ben who is trying desperately to get me into that game. He is really he's doing a good job. So Davis, why should I not play it? There we go. I'm the weird guy who wants to like Fallout, but the one Fallout game I like is the one everyone seems to hate, Fallout 3. No, Fallout 3 was the greatest. Fallout 3 was so freaking good. I will say I do think New Vegas was better, but the original Fallout 3 was awesome. Spezia says it's so tedious. The Wasteland Warfare, which is the miniatures game, that's tedious. It's like 5 models. Like, the fewer models you have, the more tedium is okay. Like, it's kind of why I like Necromunda. Yeah, so one of the things that I love about New Vegas, Fallout New Vegas, is that it takes all the visual elements I really like. I like the visual style of 3 and New Vegas more than I particularly do for 4 and 76. It's a personal preference. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I thought Fallout 3 was awesome. That was like one of those first games where you're like, oh, what do you mean I can just go anywhere? So like, where do I go? Imagine the amount of item management from the game, but make it all down with multiple types of cards. Okay, so you're trying to manage your inventory like you were from the video game, but it's cards instead of like just having stuff. Interesting. I want to hear Davis's thoughts. He's the one who brought it up. I don't know. I have several of the Guerrilla Miniatures games, Ash's channel, in my watch later list because he's been playing it, and I'm like, oh, that's such a game I wanna like because I love Fallout. But also, like I said earlier in this specific hangout, I'm gonna ease up on the other games here just for a tiny bit. Boom. We did it, friends. We now have all the makings of a legal or a fun Grey Knights list. We got our 3 troop choices. We got a couple of elites, couple heroes, a heavy support with the Dread Knight. He's built, he's just not painted. And then, yeah, and then these guys who can teleport around. I am much excited. Alright, so with that being said, I'm probably going to hop off here pretty soon because it's dinner time and I'm going to get these guys primed up. I'm very excited for them. I feel good about this because I did a good mix of swords and halberds. We got the hammer here, and he is looking cool, so to your credit, Ben, you totally win that one. Baby carriage painting tomorrow, please. Well, I try not to stream too much on Wednesdays because that's when Warhammer Weekly is on, and I don't want people to feel like they have to choose one or the other. Although theirs is much more of like a production. They have a show with topics and that kind of thing, so it's whatever. I'll think about it. But either way, I get these guys primed up, and I'm excited. So yeah, we'll be definitely be hanging out here pretty soon. Let me see where he's at. Where did I put the Dread Knight? Here we go. It's probably good that I pop him out anyway. So yeah, I got that. Whoever had him before magnetized him to the frickin' gills. So yeah, let's see. Snaps in like that. Yeah, there he is. The baby Bjorn. Had to return my pizza. Undercooked dough. Oh, that's lame. So yeah, I'm excited about this guy. He'll be super cool. I don't ever want to paint things like in sub-assemblies, but if someone does it for me and makes it really easy with magnets, then I don't mind it. So yeah, I'll probably paint him up just like this. Honestly, some of the stuff I kind of want to glue down, because I know that you can take him with just like a bare arm, because it makes him cheaper. But it's like, I mean, why play 40K if you're not going to play with all the toys? Why bring a guy that like has more guns than God if you're not going to like give him the guns? Personal opinion, of course. But yeah. So yeah, we'll get this guy painted up. What I like is that I have everything magnetized, so I can do the sword, hammer, that kind of stuff. Does this one come off? Yes, it does. Okay, sweet. Sweet. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off there. Maybe tomorrow we'll paint, maybe not. We'll see how work treats me and if I feel like stepping on Vince's toes. Man. Anyway, friends, I will catch you later. You all have yourselves a wonderful night. Stay classy and happy wargaming.